get into school. You can lose your job. None of that matters. As long as your kid picks the right colored socks. Breaking news. If you wore a pink shirt in high school and college, you can get some pussy because the girls thought you was sensitive and wanted to talk to you about a book or a poem. All the while, you did that just so you can get some ass. I'm done.
Lord. So wait a minute. I don't know the Kings. I followed him. Is that the guy about the robots or something?
Oh yeah, the robots are coming. Definitely.
Okay. All right. So. Okay.
Yeah, we're about to enter a world of anonymous. Listen, it's over. Look at how people believe. Look at how people behave just in in McDonald's. You know, it would be better if there was robots in there.
I have a question. Okay. Yeah.
I told you room is over. I told you.
No, it's not. Would you stop saying that?
This is dummies.
No, I have a question. That lady that came in earlier and was talking about and all of that. Did she say she made $500,000 this year?
$500,000 a year.
That one real estate?
Yeah, in prayer circles probably.
And she said something about Grammy. Is that that was. We have famous people in this ad. She worked the phone famous.
She's so rich, her camera for her selfie didn't have a fucking flash on it. That picture was dark as night. That's how rich she is. She couldn't even get a flash on her fucking camera for herself. That's how rich she was. Like, this room is like, y'all got it. Just bang. Someone bring Anthony in here and Infinity so people can yell.
Oh my goodness. Somebody muzzle him already.
This is dumb.
What is this? Go. You're not yourself anymore.
I've been buck broke because it's impossible to have a conversation about a topic and people. I'll give you an example. You weren't here. A guy asked me for something that happened in the last 10, 20 years. I answered the question. I said, is that legitimate? He said, no. I said, why? He said, because Clinton did something. Clinton was 35 years ago. How are you supposed to have a convo? He said he'd been in politics for 30 years and said there were 12 people on the Supreme Court. People laughed at him. He said, oh, my bad, 7. It's just, this is a space for people to bang. It's not a space for people to have chill conversations, learn from each other, exchange ideas. These people just don't like each other. People that pretend like they like each other don't like each other. Hear it all the time. I don't know why people be pretending they like each other on here. Y'all don't like each other?
That's not true.
It is true. A lot of people pretend they like each other and they don't like each other. They fight.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. But there are some people that do like each other.
That's true.
And shout out to First Lady. I didn't reach it today. Brooklyn, I just left the barbershop. I might get lucky tonight. And happy Mother's Day to the mothers. But I was here, man, when you and that dude, and I departed. I wanted to get fresh for Mother's Day. But it's true. We tried earlier, and I'm glad you came over and opened up because the RJ doctrine seems to be in effect 24/7. You want to have the conversation, you want to try to, talk facts and learn from each other, but the attacking it's happening in the chat right now. I don't know what the problem is.
So
we're gonna be.
That's a great point. Great point, Divine. Time for the rise.
Happy Saturday, Uncle. Beautiful pictures. Thank you so much for sharing that with me in the back channel. I just want to reset really quickly. We listened to a clip with Stephen A. Smith. He's sitting down. He's having a conversation. Who's the person he's sitting with? Somebody. What's his name? Okay, don't worry about it. 1 second. So, he makes the statement that I wish black people would just vote Republican. For once, just all black people vote for Republicans. And the conversation is, Stephen A. Smith and his curious case of conservatives. So we heard a case today. A gentleman came on stage. He spoke about his conservative views, but is he satisfied with what he went with? We had a young lady, we didn't get a chance to get to the bottom of it. She took off. The Kings, I'm not sure. I think you did say that Trump was a something. Anyway, that is the conversation. Thank you all for being here. Happy Saturday. Uncle, you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, First Lady. Very thorough political analyst and has a great network here at the Politically Correct. Top of the line for you, Ben, and take a steal from Brother Divine on mothers. I did go and clear. I drew my beard out too far, and I got a few complaints, so I got shipped up and shaped up for mother. Even though she's not here, she's looking from somewhere. On Stephen A. Smith, we've been kind of semi-rivals over the years. I've been like an underground journalist for most of my career, although I had other things I was doing. I did pay close attention to Stephen A. Smith. So the word physical conservative kind of fits part of that description. That he wants you to take this one shot to get his views in. But now keep in mind, one of his best friends, he's on record, one of his best friends is Sean Hannity. Now, Sean Hannity has quite a few friends. Although I have Sean Hannity on record, him, Bill O'Reilly, and Combs, others, as cold-blooded racists in many instances. But they will do a select, like they'll take a J.C. Watts or an Armstrong Williams as a co-anchor or co-buddy for a few days, a few weeks, a few years. He's not going to stay there. This is the thing about conservatism that bothers me. They will hold you for a year. As long as you have usage value at the conservative, for an example, Armstrong or Colin Powell, even Colin Powell laid for a while, and then he got all the way back against the wall, and then he bailed out on his few years and say, I'm going to ride before I'm on this one. Y'all got two, what they call right-wing conservative or ultra-conservatives. There's 3 or 4 or 5 definitions that I've found of conservative, including the ultra-conservative, the physical conservative, and the just plain ordinary conservative. Sean Hannity may be written as an extreme conservative because he never lets up. Him, Rush Limbaugh, Michael Levine, Michael Savage, a few more you might want to put in the pot. But Stephen A. Smith is distinguished because of his skills and ability as a sports commentator, as a guy that can go into ESPN or go into on any on Fox Sports and do a thing. And as we know, many anchors have been at the top of the line at Fox and been able to have a good relationship with the people, simultaneously doing a balancing act, basically as a journalist, whether it's news or sports, and still stay on. Brown did a great job. He's done Super Bowls and he's been at the top, but has a much greater relationship with the community than Stephen A. Smith. And although I do like Stephen A. Smith, there's just something about him, that subtleness, the calm that he brings to the, to the whole, he lights it up with his calmness and his skill and ability to make the point, get the point, and keep it on and stay on point. I think is what made him. He's on record. Some say up to $100 million a year, anywhere 30, 40, easily up to $100 million, and he may generate from other avenues while simultaneously giving something back. So that's my admiration for Stephen A. Smith. My plug for Saturday. And top of the rising to all of you. Hope you're successful in all your endeavors, especially on this side.
So do you agree with him? The conversation is in regards to him suggesting that all Black people should vote Republican just at least one time, but everybody just voted Republican because they voted Democrat and never received anything out of it. That is his case. Do you agree with that?
No, ma'am, I do not. Because of my aforementioned statements that all forms of conservatism, in my estimation, is a threat to we people, a threat to Black people. They will hold you as long as your value lasts, as long as your utility lasts. They can use you level. They have stomped on every conservative that I can mention, including J.C. Watts, Armstrong Williams, Colin Powell, etc. And those are just the facts as I know them. They see things quite differently, but I see the GOP not as a friend to we the people. And I am saying that the Democrat in modern times, you have a whole congressional black caucus. Where is your Republican black caucus? That should be a statement in itself. The Democrats have been much more user-friendly. But you've produced a Hakeem Jeffries and easily go and say Judge Al Green of Houston or John Lewis of Atlanta and Alabama. Players at the GOP, and they're almost down to zero. There are ever few. Of course, Turner at the token position at HUD is about all we can utter at this hour. There was an argument, and that's why I say my.
Okay. My.
Oh, I forgot my last my. Oh, my. Yes, my. But this is a great topic for Saturday.
Hi, hello.
Excellent.
This is Black.
Hi, hello. Okay, Black. Hi, Black.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and
I have Dr. Roslin.
It's too many concrete outcomes. Black folks historically have been socially conservative, but we had to be politically liberal because of, protections against discrimination and so many other things. Like the tangible outcomes from, these Republican presidents, from a recession standpoint, 10 out of the last 11 recessions have been under Republicans. And Black folks are disproportionately impacted by these layoffs. Black folks get laid off more often when we look at even the lawsuit against Trump and his administration for federal employees. All those layoffs, 75% of them have been Black. And there's strong evidence that there's still significant discrimination. Google just had a settlement for $50 million for a discrimination lawsuit. So between that, erasure of Black history in our school systems was actually American history. School lunch program pullbacks, to feed the poor in school, which helps everyone out that's poor. And even, federal employment, and that's for a lot of Black folks, that's a way to get to the middle class. All this stuff really negatively, disproportionately affects Black folks. And a lot of things that Black people talk about, even the folks on the stage, is things that really politics don't impact. Whether it's the gay community, which is such a small community, about 5 or 6%, trans less than 1%, as a straight man, that don't have nothing to do with me, whatever somebody does in their bedroom. But either way, I'm not going to cut off my nose to spite my face. Also, Voters' Rights Act, we can go on and on and on of so much that's already happened in this past less than a year and a half. So it should be obvious. I think a lot of people in these conversations say, well, you got bread, does it impact you? That really shows their mindset. It really shows their mindset of how individualistic they are to, trade in their people for a few, pieces of silver. And
Thank you, brother. That was good, Black. How you doing? Hey, Spinoza, how are you?
Shalom, beloved.
Shalom. Did you want to speak on Stephen?
No. Not right now.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Ben has officially checked out, so.
What did y'all do to band today? Hey, you don't have an A and B selection.
We didn't do anything to him.
What did they do?
No, we did nothing. Nothing. We did nothing.
Oh, you know what it was, Spinoza? They asked the band to give them 100 push-ups, and he couldn't deliver. That's what happened.
No, I don't believe that. Just
You think that nigga can do 100 push-ups?
I do. Ever since we saw the Mondani video. I mean, most people can't do 100 push-ups uninterrupted.
Okay. You think he can? You think he can do 2 sets of 50?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, he says he works out and does push-ups fairly often, so that's not that hard a feat.
Okay, for you, yeah, but 2 sets of 50?
Way to believe, Spinoza. Way to believe.
No, I don't believe.
You do it. Can you do a hurricane?
I don't even know that I could.
Hurricane's lying to you, Brooklyn. Of course he can.
No. Well, no, I honestly don't. I don't think so. 2 sets of 50, good reps. I'm talking technique. I'm not talking cheating, Spinoza. I'm talking about, so I'm not using momentum. I'm talking about real reps. 2 sets of 50. I don't know that I could.
Well, you can do 3 sets of 33.
I'd have
plus
to
1.
I'd have to cheat to do 2 sets of 50.
Shalom, Brother Spinoza. Malaikum, Brother Leisha.
Shalom, shalom.
Oh, Spinoza deadlifts like, I don't know, 12, 15 pounds or something crazy.
No, that's not true.
He can bench like, I don't know, 550. 550 pounds.
I'll take a crack at it. Here's a question for the stage. And by the way, I do not agree with Stephen A. Smith. But could his logic be, should black people all vote Republican in an effort to try to teach Dems a lesson? Like, we ain't fucking no more. And mind you, yes, this might be to our demise. Should we all say, fuck it, we're gonna not support any Democrat? He said just once. I'm trying to see what his logic is in saying something as crazy as he has said in the clip that we listened to about 4 times. So that's my 2 cents.
Potentially, the logic is to preserve friendship on both sides with Negroes and the Democrat. And then if he makes that statement, that would maintain his relationship with the right wing or the far right or the right wing ultra-conservative. See, the rich man doesn't go to a wealthy man's party when you really study these things. And those bedfellows like you have a Sean Hannity and a Bill O'Reilly type, or again an extreme, a Michael Levine and a Michael Savage type. And that leaves a kind of mixed menu there that you can still work in that atmosphere. For an example, the Republican Party doesn't have say Michael Steele on board at this time. That's probably the best example you could make.
You said I might
If you
be
actually-
quick ambassador, please. I think Rick wanted to go next, and then I'll go.
Why should they? No, I don't go over because I listened for a long time to be able to contribute. But bottom line, they don't have a Ron Brown would build a Democrat Party. A Michael Steele would build a Republican Party. Ron Brown gets killed and Michael Steele gets booted out. So there's your usually value, and I land my play just on the facts. That's it. My. Okay, great. Go ahead.
Oh, Brooklyn, you can go first, and I'll go after you. I wanted to just say that. You see?
Say it again, Brooklyn. Say it
Let me
again.
think about it. I'll be back.
So, is there anybody that agrees with Stephen A's analysis?
Did he even have?
We did have a few people that was on stage that did agree earlier.
I don't know if they agreed though. They couldn't even stand on business, and that's the part that I wanted to get at. But I want to let Britt go first.
I really don't understand, I guess, trying to tease out why a conservative man would tell black people to vote against their best interest by voting for Republicans. Outside of he's a conservative man who's aiming to get Black people to do conservative things, I think that, especially as Black people, if we're not looking to the fact that there are a lot of Black people who live in the South, who live in states that are ran majoritarily by Republicans, and regardless of whether or not these Black people vote for the Republican Party, the fact still remains they live in states that are overwhelmingly Republican-led throughout all sectors of government, be it the legislative, executive, or the judicial branches, and all of those states are shitholes. They all rank poorly as it relates to education. There are precious few states that have good economic mobility, but outside of that, they're shit. And so the idea that somebody from New York who lives in a blue state as a conservative is going to then tell other Black people, regardless of where these Black people are, to vote for conservatives, as if there are not cut cases of Black people in conservative states being fucked. I think it's just a conservative person trying to carry water for conservatives and saying bullshit that doesn't make any sense logically, that has no bearing in the material reality. And this idea of punishing Democrats, you're not going to do that. You're just going to punish yourself.
Yeah, that was Devon introduced that part of the conversation about if you think it's a thing where he's trying to punish Democrats. But what I recall from the clip was he was saying he's trying to make it, he wants that to happen so that both parties have to fight for Black people's votes. Both parties know that they have to fight for Black people's votes. So that's where I'm trying to kind of collect my confusion and figure out, I don't know if there's so much he's trying to punish the Democratic Party. I don't really think he's trying to do anything because what he's saying is very ridiculous, but I don't know that he's trying to like punish the Democratic Party.
Thanks for that clarity, because I didn't, we did play it a few times. I did not catch that. Yeah, right. So you make a valid point.
That was at the
But, yeah.
I wanted to respond to Jordy real quick because yeah, like they had to fight for your fight for your vote. Like, sir, but you're not making a case for that. And I think that is just playing Russian roulette. We see what that got us now. Because some people bought into that narrative. I heard it because Trump said it during the campaign. He said, well, what do you got to lose? They ain't never done nothing for you. So, give it a try kind of thing. Remember that part, Johnny?
I remember that part. And another part that I remember is in his effort to actually start the room earlier on, one of the points that Ben made was that, and I don't want to misrepresent what he said, but it sounded like he was saying, but part of the reason why this is actually very ridiculous is because Republicans, they don't need the Black people's vote to win.
Well, they definitely don't need it now with this redistricting nonsense and discrimination, for sure. I mean, it's not just Black Americans, but Latino Americans have also been hoodwinked. Now they're rounding up their relatives and families and throwing them in ICE camps. So they voted overwhelmingly, not overwhelmingly, but Trump carried them as well. So I think the coalition is.
I was gonna say even if I did take that point, I don't know what Latinos have to do with the clip. I didn't hear Stephen A. Smith address Latino voters in the clip. I didn't hear that anything that he was.
He was just adding on.
And Trump didn't win. And Trump didn't win Latino voters either. Whatever. This app is insane.
It's okay. Well, we're grateful we have a fact checker.
I know it's okay, but I'm just.
No, I'm saying we're glad, and I'm just saying we're grateful that we have a fact checker. That's all I'm saying.
You're right. That's it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Josh Jamal.
Hey, happy Saturday, everybody.
Happy Saturday.
I hope everybody's brains are covered a little bit. I caught a bit of this morning's room, but yes.
Are you able to play the clip one more time, sir? Or no?
Yeah, tap your rising to your network.
Thank you, Ambassador. It's always good to hear you too.
Likewise, beloved.
Mr. Ben, are you able to play the clip again? No.
Negative.
I hate you.
Yeah, so I came in on the back end of Britt's submission, and I think I'm able to surmise from the chat. I believe we're talking about Stephen A. I'm not sure what specifically he said in regards to Black people in the Republican Party, but I'll just reiterate what I said in the chat. I don't know why people think they can go with racists. There's a case, I think it happened in Georgia recently, I forgot what state it was, where there were a lovely white couple. They harassed this Black woman and her child at their home, called them all types of racial slurs, and then they got punished by the court of law. And these are the people that they think we can reason with. But I'm not interested in reasoning with overt racists. All that to say, I don't know why I keep asking where are the Black folks in the Republican Party, at least on the mainstream side. Where are you at? Or where are you at in office? We see all of them are getting ready to get voted out of office. So I'm just trying to understand: are we okay with not being represented? Is this a part of the bigger strategy to get our voices heard in the party by getting elected out of our seats? Regardless if we're on Democratic or Republican, I guess I don't see the forest from the trees yet. And I'm just trying to see which forest and trees we're supposed to be looking at. Because maybe I might be looking at the wrong ones.
And you said this was recorded a week ago, right?
What, the Stephen A. clip?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I don't know when the Stephen A. clip happened.
Oh, okay. No, I was
saw it
asking.
last week, first week.
Okay.
It was after the Calais decision was issued first.
What? Are you serious?
I think so.
So, First Lady.
Wow.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Go on.
Yeah. Since we have people kind of coming in the stage and then into the space, and like I didn't hear this, I jumped in on the back end. What's going on is Stephen A. He had a sit down with Cam Newton. I think it dropped last week, and the clip kind of centers on him saying what he wishes that for one election, Black people would vote again. And the reason being, which kind of I opened up to Divine's point a little bit, or what he kind of put to the stage, is that because since 1964, Black people have been giving the Democrats their vote, and then he's saying that they just take our vote for granted because of the fact that they just got it already. And then Republicans know that they're not going to get Black people's votes, so they don't care about it.
Right.
So that's just for anyone like you who kind of came in a little bit later, that's a bit of a recap of where we're going and why the room was kind of opened up, and then talking about the curious case of Black conservatives. But what I'm kind of wondering, calling the question, First Lady and others listening, is why wouldn't he say for all people to vote for Democrats?
Well, I think it shows up a position of my research on Black conservatives. When you make a statement of that caliber, especially Gus, then that makes you cool. I'm okay. It gives you the kumbaya flag with the right-wing conservatives. Say, yeah, well, hey, Stephen's okay. As opposed to a view from Bob Johnson. Say, for an example, Stephen does not really take a position on reparations. Stephen A. Smith does not. You say, well, something has been there. So to avoid the direct question, direct answer, as you saw Ban earlier, ask a semi-conservative what was her views, and so they will not give you a direct answer on the issue, say, of reparations, as opposed to Bob Johnson, who has a few more dollars and makes a lot more sense, says that there are trillions owed in reparations and so forth. So those are the two probably opposing views of people who have money that may take a position, a social political position, more closely aligned with the Democrat. Again, the Democrat has produced a Hakeem Jeffries. You can identify with Hakeem Jeffries. you can see the position of Judge Al Green, and you know what John Lewis was talking about when he said good trouble. So therefore, Stephen is trying to preserve a post for himself on both sides. And then if he can bring him to the conservative posture, then he gets cheers and 2 snaps on the rewind from the Republican as well. Yeah, or conservative, if you will.
Two quick things, Jordy. I feel like it's because, especially given the idea of, and we want Dems to fight over our vote, and we're always just giving them things without getting anything. I think they don't, in their mind, it's a reward. I don't want to reward what I feel like is your bad behavior by telling everybody to vote for you. So if I do something that's completely different and vote and tell everybody to vote en masse the opposite way, you'll have to realize the benefit of me voting for you. And as a child, because to me this is all very much a childish thought, because then after that, once you see that I'm gone and you miss me or you see my value, then you'll come running back to me, and then you will come offering me things and try to fight for me to come back. I think that's probably why. But I also want to dovetail that in, I think just earlier mentioned, where are the mainstream Republicans who are about to get voted out? There's a clip, I want to say a few weeks ago, we had on yes, and he was getting interviewed about what does he think about the Black Republicans who are voted out, and like how does he feel about that? He said he didn't give a shit. That did not matter. And for me, this is what Stephen A. Smith you're advocating for. You're advocating for folks to vote for a party where the captured Black people who are already over there don't give a fuck that they're all about to get kicked out of the house. Don't give a fuck about the fact that they will no longer be representing constituents, their constituents representing Black people on behalf of their own party. They don't give a shit. And so, if that's the level to which things are over there, how does that espouse any sort of progressive movement forward for Black people? How does that then achieve or benefit us in any material way, where any of the goals that we have for the future or any of the things that we've lost that we might want to try and reclaim, how do we get that with a party that doesn't value its Blacks, that its own Blacks that are there think to themselves, well, it doesn't matter if we're here or not?
That's well stated. I mean, he plays it more like a 76ers or a Knicks basketball game if he's calling the shot. But this is our political life. I think would be a gallant statement from a guy like Bob Brown or one of those money brothers would challenge him, say, well, why don't you, if you believe in that conservatism, then why don't you challenge the GOP to produce a Black caucus among the GOP, and then we can have some fair, well-rounded politics as opposed to a lopsided equation in favor of white conservatives.
Thank you. So, Brett, I can't tell you what it will bring you, but I definitely can tell you that it will not be bringing the wonderful gentleman that thought that they were going to create this tax write-off for men who were, if they taking care of their kids and they paying child support. I think they were supposed to get like this tax write-off or something or another. I think that was some of the things that they were touting, and Black men were like, oh yeah, he's gonna do this for us, he's gonna do that. Also, with the if I'm not mistaken, early in the conversation, they said now if you're not paying child support, they might take your passport.
So, First Lady, actually, let me go ahead and let them go. I'll go actually go.
So, want to take your passport. And I just want to talk about people buying into things without doing the investigation. Because that's what I'm hearing here. Even though I know I was a part of a lot of spaces where, being educated was given. I just try to understand where's the disconnect in the communication. If someone's challenging you to look at things from a different viewpoint, when do you wake up to look at that thing? Once you're in slavery again? I don't understand that. I really and truly, instead of ignoring it and just want to be whole to what you think you know, but then when the evidence gets pointed out, you want to ignore it over and over and over again. And in this situation, it doesn't seem to be touting that way. I don't know who's off from you, but
It's ambassador.
they squirming in their chair. And listen to Sade.
It's ambassador.
I got it. I don't know what's going on with
I'm sorry, my finger hit the mic.
Okay, thanks. That helped it. That helped the situation a lot. I'm just sitting up here with two male mods. I'm sitting in the middle, and they've gone to sleep at the wheel. So I just want to say I thank the people that are on stage, and I thank the go. Be in the conversation, because these two knuckleheads, I don't know what's going on. They getting ready for Mother's Day. Ain't that about a monkey? So, if you guys don't want to stay on this conversation, we don't have to drag it anymore. We can move on, and have another.
I'm cool with it. I wish that it was a little bit more productive earlier on after they came on stage. But Britt, if you don't mind, going back to the Stephen A. thing and the kind of the notion that it's kind of ultra ridiculous. The clip also goes on to, he reveals that the motivation behind his take, as childish and ridiculous as it seems, is because of the fact that he perceives that the Black people are the only community in this country that don't have representation. And so it just strikes me as really, really odd that his suggestion for all Black people to vote Republican would be a mechanism to increase representation. A hard time connecting the dots.
I'm sorry, were you about to say something, Britt?
You can go first, and then I'll go back to what Jordy.
No, I was wondering, did Stephen, because I only saw the clip on Instagram or something, I didn't watch the interview. Did he expound on, did he go further after he said that we should do this so that Democrats fight for our vote?
No, that's what he implied that both parties, he said that both parties should, because the Democrats have 90% in the pocket, they don't have to do anything. And so, because Cam Newton, anyway, I don't need to go. Yeah, he did. It was like 10 seconds. It's the thing you've heard many times before. Yeah.
So did Cam ask, okay, so do you expect us to,
No, I'll just tell you what he asked. No, because the question is the question was, do you worry that your political takes will hurt your career? And then he went on about how he's doing great and he's the shit. That's exactly how it went.
That's so fucking stupid.
That's what I'm saying. That was the point. Like, that's why, it's actually hard to have a conversation with a Black conservative for more than 10 minutes on substantive issues. It just gets into banging, and you're on a plantation, and I call them a coon, or they call you a slave, and you call them a coon. They actually cannot have a substantive conversation because they don't have any values. Political values.
Right.
Outside of the gay stuff, outside of a couple of things, but, your mama don't like me talking to Brian, but at least if I talk to Brian, we can get a couple citations. We can actually have a conversation. Did you get a conversation with the Black conservatives this morning in Lisa's room? Absolutely insane.
No, I don't go in there.
They said the reason why the Supreme Court got rid of the Voting Rights Act is because it was a temporary stopgap to deal with overt racism. But since we'll always have racism, getting rid of it was honoring the civil rights activists of the 60s who were fighting for it.
Who the fuck said that?
Anthony, and other Black conservatives.
Okay, that makes sense.
And they never read the Voting Rights Act either stuff.
I will give him to that. At least he conceded to not read Article 2 of the Voting Rights Act, so he really didn't know the context of why it happened. But yeah, that was their rationale, and that's kind of where I always just jump off the conversation, because look, we can get off of I'll meet you halfway and be okay, let's make them fight for the vote. So when you look at everything that the Republicans are espousing today politically, like, do you think that things that Black people prioritize, do you think it's even in the wheelhouse of things that we can get them to concede on? Like almost all the things that I hear Black people want is almost antithetical to everything that the Republican Party currently stands on. So it's just like, how are we going to get our small pocket of people to shift an entire party's political position on the issue because we make a mass migration? Like, it doesn't make sense. So it only makes sense to go with the party who's closer in proximity to your views and work your way there, as opposed to going to the complete opposite side and trying to get them, to concede on that issue. For example, like the whole reparations thing, like reparations, we know at face value is a redistribution of wealth. Like the Republicans don't believe in that concept to begin with. So when you're trying to have a conversation about reparations, you think you're gonna get the Republicans to give Black people reparations? Absolutely not.
I mean, the odd thing is that Stephen A. Smith and people that say that, so if every Black person, let's say it goes 90-10 the other way, that probably gives Republicans, I haven't done the math, but I'm going to guess anywhere from 63 to 73 Senate seats. Might be more. You give them massive Senate majorities. Y'all worried about the SAVE Act? Imagine what Republicans would have with 70-some Senate seats. An 80-seat majority in the House, 70-seat majority in the House. And then you think that the elections are going to be fair coming back for Democrats to then fight for it? That doesn't even make any sense. But it's because Steve.
Yeah, that's why I asked you, did he expound, and did Cam ask a follow-up question? Like, if we just take this to its conclusion, there's no dimension. If we vote for J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio in the next election, that we have a better time than we're having now. Like, we'd be completely fucked.
Yeah, that's because they only think about the political side, because that's where the fun and the money is. They don't think about policy. So why would anybody, given what the Republicans are doing now in foreign policy, this is the Republican foreign policy, an Iran war. Why do Black people get this more? This just makes no sense. Because they're not thinking like that. Stephen A. Smith said he got all this money. Stephen A. Smith doesn't realize he's a beneficiary of the very civil rights infrastructure that conservatives are knocking down every day. He thinks the Black version of Stephen A. Smith was making $100 million over 5 years. What world do these people live in? I don't know, man. I mean, it's an uninformed world, whatever.
Here's a question for you. Do you think that it was a genuine take, or do you think it was just a grift?
What's the difference?
That's a good question. He said it, so it doesn't matter.
If you're saying from the people in the previous room, I believe I think it's a very genuine take. If you're talking about the celebrities, I believe it's just a grift.
Okay, thank you. And
I think it's a mixture of both.
I'm not talking about Anthony or I'm talking about Stephen A. Smith.
Well, Stephen A. I think it's both. I think it's genuine, and I think it's a grift. I think he genuinely feels that way, and I think he also knows it's going to make money for him, so he's going to lean into it. But I do think those are his genuine thoughts. It's unfortunate that those are his genuine thoughts, but I believe those are his thoughts.
I hear you. I just think it's weird because if you kind of legitimately feels that the points that Ben's making about like him being a beneficiary of the voting rights act that's being gutted and all, it's kind of darn. But
can we stay there for a second? Because do you think that when people do this, like for instance, let's say that Stephen started out as joshing around or trolling around, like you all like to say, and then it becomes a thing. It's like, oh yeah, this sounds good. People like this shit. They're buying into it, and they don't even think about the damage that it's causing. Because I don't think when he's saying this, he's thinking about the negative downside of it. I think he's only looking at his pockets. That's my point.
That would be the grift.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But why does it matter that it might be a grift? I don't understand why people. Why does that matter?
Well, I mean, some people just like to talk to other points of the conversation outside of why it matters to whomever.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying. But why does it matter to people that it's a grift? Why does it matter that? Why do they care about the person's innermost intentions when the impact of what the person is saying is easy to see?
Give me a mod real quick, because I'm about to kick Hurricane out.
Why?
So you got me blocked out my own fucking house?
No. Hold on.
Yeah, you do.
It's a mistake. I don't use this account a lot, so
you better fix it.
So listen, my other account, for some reason, I can't get in this from my. Ever since the glitch of today's ago, I fixed it. Patty, relax.
What's going on? Jesus.
Patty trying to play with me.
No, I'm not playing with you. You're playing with me. You better figure it out.
Tell Paul and Rohan to fix Clubhouse.
But to answer your question, Hurricane, I think, at least for me, I like to know whether or not someone is being genuine or if it's a grift solely because that lets me know how much effort I can put into like unpacking what the intentions of the conversation. Like, is there a bridge to be built here? Because if I know you're grifting, I just know there's no point in me engaging because I know you're just doing this for a money play, and your intentions could. So at that point, it's like, okay, why are we having a conversation when I know you're just doing this to make money off of what you're saying, or you're doing it for the attention, the views, the clicks, the likes, whatever the case may be, as opposed to, okay, if you genuinely feel this way, let's figure out why you genuinely feel this way, and then there might be a way for me to shift your perspective just a little bit.
And to add on to that, because
both of them are taxing, but I think there is more fruit in engaging somebody who genuinely feels that way, as opposed to somebody I know for a fact is just grifting.
That's a good explanation. Go ahead, Joy.
I don't know that the line between the two is so clear.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of how some people have their own way of viewing things. So I can understand, where Justin's coming from, because some people will not engage in a conversation any further or take what that person is saying because they know that this person doesn't understand the depth and understand that this is just bull crap. So instead of me wasting my time having a conversation, you can continuously further your views, especially if you're not going to listen to the opposing side, then the grift conversation matters, because it's just like, you're just doing this for clicks, for money,
and
whatever.
As the First Lady, if you call into question, look at the title of the room, and you knew what it was before it got changed. If the conversation is stemming out of this use case of Stephen A. Smith's little sit down with Cam Newton and what he said, if it's a grift, and if this is just what he's doing as a grift at large on the different outlets and platforms that he speaks on, I think it's like one thing, and it's kind of like the buck kind of stops there because you already know what it is. But looking at the title of the room, if it's not just a grift, if there's actually substance behind it, if there's actually real POV, then you can actually at least make an attempt to understand this black conservatism, or the notion of it. You might have something to talk about. There might be something to understand beyond, you're just out here just making money. So I think that it's having the understanding is helpful in just getting an understanding of where someone like like him or any black conservative really stands.
Yeah, because you can peer into somebody's mind and ascertain exactly what's motivating them. Every single thing motivating them to do something, you can peer into somebody's mind and see.
No, maybe not, but that would be the point of having a conversation.
Exactly. So it doesn't really matter if it's a grift or not, because you can talk to the person and have the person tell you in real time what's motivating the person. You can listen to them state their reasons explicitly, or you can draw inferences based on what they tell you. The whole grift thing to me just seems like a lazy way to dismiss what somebody's saying. We can take time to talk to the people and find out why they feel how they feel. Or if we're curious, we can just ask questions. We can analyze what they're saying so that we can learn more about them and their influence. The whole grift thing, it's sloganeering, really. That's what it is to me. It doesn't help.
Well, it's nice to know that you feel that way, but maybe that's why you're not asking for the distinction.
Please, I asked for the distinction, but one wasn't given that was persuasive to me.
Well, I'm sorry that you've been disappointed by the level of persuasion.
I'm not disappointed. It's fine.
I just have one comment on the whole thing with the grifting versus sincerity conversation. I earnestly don't care either which way, right? Because if your opinions, if your thoughts are uninformed and are, nonsensical to me, then that's what they are. I think the only difference is that within in a meta sense of things, somebody who has sincerely held beliefs that for whatever inferences you're able to make, you're able to ascertain that, hey, this is sincere, you're just sincerely an idiot, versus if you grift and if at every turn you are changing your stance, changing your opinions, changing everything in effort to be in the right, in effort to win the conversation, in effort to get a dollar, get a dime, monetize whatever, then you're just a money-hungry idiot. Either which way, you're still an idiot to me. It's just a difference in, at a very meta level, what your perceived motivations are.
I hear you, Britt. If that's the case, then what's interesting is if it's the grift thing and they're an idiot, then the sloganeering is they're a grifter, and then if it's the other way, then they're just another type of idiot, but you're still writing them off, sloganeering them in that direction anyway. So.
Oh yeah, to be clear, I want to, in going with what Hurricane says, I'm going to write it off. You will be written off. The sloganeering, it's already there. You already said it.
I hear you.
Me taking the next step to be meta and then try to figure out where your motivations are and all that other shit. To me, the asking the questions to figure out why you think that way, that to me is for me, why are you doing that? What does that even matter? You're not changing their minds. You're not changing their hearts. They said what they said and they meant it. Y'all had very sincere conversations with certain individuals on this app, and they have agreed with y'all stances when y'all get down to the corner of why they think that the way that they think or whatever, and then they come back and they double down on the same bullshit the next the room and blocked for a few days, and then they come back on their bullshit, right? So their motivations for saying what they say, it doesn't matter. That's who they are.
So, Jordy, I'm looking at Stephen A. Smith's YouTube page. He has 1.36 million subscribers. Okay. So whenever he posts a video, a large number of people will listen to what he has to say. Right. He has a lot more influence over the American public than I do. Right. Why does it matter why he says the shit that he says? He has a lot of people listening to him. And so he has the potential to mislead large groups of people. It doesn't matter why he does it. If he is helping to push the false narrative that the Democratic Party has done nothing for Black people and that as a result, Black people should vote for the Republican Party one time. He is wreaking havoc on our community.
We're aligned on that. Yeah,
whether he's grifting, whether he sincerely believes it, none of that stuff matters. Intent for trying to prove criminal liability or civil liability. But if we're just talking about people using their public platforms to mislead people or to lead people in the right direction, what matters is the impact of what they say and do, not the motivation behind what they say or do.
Yeah, we're aligned there. Maybe, I don't know if there was any misunderstanding that I thought that it mattered why he's saying what he's saying if it ultimately leads to the same destruction. Me just posing the question of if it was just a grift is because I kind of just look at it as if Stephen A. Smith is going on and saying this, it's like if he's just doing this for money. I don't know that it really helps me understand the curious case of Black conservatism, which is what the room initially started out as. The title had changed, but we were trying to talk in that direction, and there were people who came up on stage, I guess they're Black conservatives, and it was hard to get answers out of them. So all I was saying is that if it's the likes of somebody who was a grifter and their baseless viewpoints, they don't make any sense, but they don't even believe in it, they couldn't even attempt to provide any understanding. As you made the point before, if you want to understand, you can ask people questions. But if it's the likes of a grifter, you couldn't really even ask them questions to get an understanding of like where are you coming from. So that's why I posed the question.
There are people who believe things deeply who don't understand why they believe what they believe.
That's true.
Stephen A. So Stephen A. perturbs you guys, like y'all don't really care for him?
Okay.
You said what?
Hey, your mama.
Yo.
Gods. Peace to the gods, peace to the queens.
I think Stephen A. actually gets a bad rap, man. I don't really see any Black person that gets to the top of their field get any kudos from our community, and it's really weird. I don't know why. Like, does he have some takes that I don't really agree with? Yeah, that's true. But like, I just think that like, damn if he do, damn if he don't. You know, and like for a bigger like thing with me is like, why is the people that rise amongst us, why are they ostracized so much? Like, why do we turn on them so much? That's so concerning to me. Like, they got to be perfect. Like any Black person that achieves has to be perfect, or we just destroy it. Like we are cancel culture.
I'm not like Ben, so I'm not good at engaging with nigga Bible. I've never been. I can't do it, so I don't know.
But yeah, this is nigga Bob Walker culture.
Brooklyn, do you want to?
I can't.
Here's the issue. Go ahead first.
That wasn't it.
Go ahead first.
That wasn't it. It was great. But
So when you say you're a deep homosexual, that means like.
That's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying. I know
So why
that.
you call me a nigga?
No, he didn't call you a nigga. He said what you were doing was nigga.